In this video, I'm going to teach you the very basic concepts of an exponent. But before we do exponents, I need to make sure you understand what the word factor means. Factor is a part of a multiplication problem. So if you had the multiplication problem, let's say 3 times 5, which is 15, the 3 and the 5 are considered factors of 15. Okay, and we could do again, we can do 2 times 7, and the 2 times 7, the 2 and the 7 are also factors. So any number could be a factor of any bigger number. However, there's one number that's a factor for every number in the world, positive and negative. That number is 1. Okay, 1, when you multiply, well, I can multiply both of these by 1. When you multiply by 1, it doesn't change the value of the problem. And so even though 1 is not always listed as a factor, it's always there. So that kind of leads us, now that you understand what factors are, these numbers that make up a multiplication problem, now let me tell you about an exponent. In math, we use exponents when the factors, the list of factors, has more than one of the same number. Okay, so for example, if I told you the answer to this multiplication is 25, okay, hopefully you know 5 times 5 is 25. I'm going to just throw in that 1 because I really want you to understand that 1 is a factor of every number. So look here, there's 2 5s, and so instead of listing out 2 5s, or we could have even a bigger number that has 3 5s, or so on, we're going to take just these 2 factors and we're going to write it in exponential form. So we're going to take the 5 because that is the actual factor. And we had 2 of the 5, so we're going to make a little 2 right above, or right to the upper side of the 5. Okay, 5 is our factor. Okay, it is now considered a base number, and then this little 2 is your exponent. Sometimes exponent is called a power, so we'll call it a power as well. But the exponent and power means the same thing. Okay, take a look at these exponent problems. We have 2 to the 4th power. That's the most common way to say it. Down here with the 3 and the 2 power could be called 2 squared or 2 cubed. But I want you to look at these problems and explain to you what they mean. Okay, a lot of times teachers may say, okay, 2 to the 4th power is 2 times itself 4 times. But if you really break down that definition, you're really multiplying 5 2's because you have the original 2, and then if you multiply it 4 more times, that doesn't represent this exponent. So I want to give you another definition. I want to tell you that 2 to the 4th equals 1 times the product of 4 2's. Product means multiplication. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times another 2 is 16. And of course, times 1, it doesn't change the value. So this problem is a 16. All right, so let's move on. 2 to the 3rd power, or 2 cubed, it would be 1 times the product of 3 2's. And that one would be 8. And then 2 squared is 1 times the product of 2 2's, which is 4. And 2 to the 1st power, a lot of times that exponent of a 1 is not written at all. This is just 1 times 2. That leaves us with 2 to the 0 power, which that equals 1. So that explains, a lot of times the textbook just says anything raised to a 0 power equals 1, but this is the reason, because every number always has at least a factor of a 1. And then we can go on into negative numbers, but I'm going to save that for another video. Okay, one last thing on this video. You may hear the word exponential form. Teachers will ask you to take an expression and write it in exponential form. Okay, that word exponential really just means rewrite the expression using what you know about exponents. Okay, so take a look at these two examples. Okay, this is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, so before, earlier in the video, we talked about if there was more than one factor of the same number, that's when we could use the exponent. Okay, the repeated number becomes our base number. So we'll write a big 2, and then we'll count how many of those 2's were multiplied together. In this case, there's 4, so our exponent will be 4. We'll put another multiplication symbol, and we have 2 3's, and so the 3 is the base number, and the 2 is the exponent. Down here, this one should be 6 squared times 5 cubed. Now we're going to leave these as your answer, especially if the instructions say write these in exponential form. That means your answer needs to still have the exponent present. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video. I'm going to put up a few examples for you that I want you to try on your own.